The Luppino crime family, Italian, Lup, modifier letter vertical line pi, modifier letter triangular colon no, also known as the Luppino Violi crime family, is a 'ndrangheta organized crime family based and founded in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, in the 1950s by Giacomo Luppino. The Luppino family is one of 3 centralized mafia organizations in Hamilton, with the other 2 being the Musitano crime family and the Papaglia crime family. The Luppinos have had strong connections with the Buffalo crime family of Buffalo, New York. By 2018, the Violas had an increased role in the organization, particularly Domenico and Giuseppe Violi, the sons of Montreal mob boss Paolo Violi, who had married into the Luppino family through Giacomo's daughter. Domenico had reportedly been made the underboss of the Buffalo crime family, and one of his duties was to assume control over the operations of the Luppino Violi crime family. By late 2018, however, both brothers were imprisoned for drug trafficking offenses. Brothers Natalie and Rocco Luppino were believed to be the leaders of the Hamilton-based crime family. Luppino, Hamilton and Buffalo. Giacomo Luppino was born in 1900 in the village of Upito Mamertina, Calabria, Italy. Already involved in organized crime in Calabria, Luppino, his wife Domenica, Nato Daro, and their 10 children immigrated to Hamilton in 1955 from Castellas, a subdivision of Upito Mamertina. By the time Luppino arrived in Canada, the 3 Duns had already been established, consisting of Santo Schibetta, Anthony Silvestro and Calogero Bordinaro, who answered to Stefano Magaddino of the Buffalo crime family. Before Schibetta moved to Hamilton, he was already a made member of the Magaddino family. By the early 1960s, Magaddino promoted Santo Schibetta to leader of the Buffalo family's Ontario branch, replacing Johnny Papaglia, who was under indictments in the United States. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Luppino and Schibetta jointly controlled Hamilton. In the early 1960s, Luppino was the cappuccino of the Hamilton faction of Magaddino's Buffalo crime family, giving Luppino control over all of his branches in Ontario. As boss of all bosses in the region, he was a founding member of the Camera di Controllo in Canada in 1962. Luppino had been seen meeting with powerful mob figures, including 'ndrangheta member Rocco Zito and Citorno group member Michele Racco. Luppino and Santo Schibetta also answered to Magaddino while Johnny Papaglia was imprisoned in the early 1960s. The Luppinos also became associated with local bootlegger Paolo Violi, but left for Montreal in 1963 on Giacomo's orders to avoid clashes with Papaglia. In Montreal, Violi developed connections with the Cotroni crime family, while maintaining ties with the Luppino family. He married Giacomo's daughter, Grazia, in 1965. Giacomo had 5 sons who were involved in organized crime: Vincenzo, Jimmy, Natalie, Nat, Rocco, Antonio, Tony, and John Luppino. In 1967, police began a 5-year surveillance operation of Giacomo Luppino, which included wiretapping his Hamilton home. In the early 1970s, Natalie Luppino worked with Toronto mobster Paul Volpe on extortion schemes where they would be paid kickbacks from both the union and the developers for negotiating construction contracts. Giacomo Luppino later sponsored Paul Volpe into the Buffalo crime family. In the mid-1970s, Schibetta died, shifting the leadership entirely to Luppino. In 1978, Rocco Luppino, Dominic Musitano, owner of a Hamilton haulage company, and Angelo Natali, president of the Ontario Haulers Association, were charged with conspiracy to commit extortion after police uncovered a protection racket on Ontario's independent trucking industry. After a 5-year legal battle, they were acquitted in 1983. In 1981, Tony and John Luppino and Jerry Fumo were convicted of fraud, receiving 15-month, 12-month and 18-month sentences respectively. Giacomo Luppino died of natural causes at the age of 87 in March 1987, whereby Jimmy Luppino took over the family. Statements made during the 2018 trial of mobster Domenico Violi indicated that, several decades earlier, Giacomo Luppino had been responsible for working out arrangements for the alliance between the Hamilton mob and the Mafia of Buffalo. In a report on the murder of Cece Luppino in early 2019, CBC News made this statement. Court documents filed by the RCMP during the Violi trial show the Luppino family is connected to a web of organized crime stretching from Hamilton to Buffalo, and why the news item added that the Luppino Violi family is a faction of the Todaro crime family that is based in Buffalo and that Rocco and Natalie Luppino were members of the latter. In a 1999 interview with Musitano family hitman Kenneth Murdoch, he revealed he was ordered to kill Jimmy Luppino, but did not go through with the order. Murdoch also claimed that he was waiting for Pat Musitano to approve the murders of Natalie Luppino and Vincenzo Luppino, as well as Dominic Violi and Giuseppe Violi. The Violas and Luppinos. A 2002 Halton police report suggested the Violi brothers, Domenico, Dom, and Giuseppe, Joe Violi, grandsons to Giacomo Luppino, who moved back to Hamilton with their mother after their father Paolo Violi was killed in Montreal in 1978 by the Sicilian Rizzuto crime family, became affiliated with the Luppino family. Domenico became a made member in the Buffalo family in January 2015. In November 2017, the brothers were charged with 75 offenses, such as conspiracy to import a controlled substance, possession for the purpose of trafficking a controlled substance, trafficking a controlled substance, trafficking contraband tobacco, trafficking firearms, and participating in a criminal organization. 9 people in total were arrested and charged, including Massimiliano Carfana of Burlington, Ontario and Adriano Scoglieri of Vaughan, Ontario, while warrants went out for additional suspects. During the multi-city bust, police seized large quantities of fentanyl and carfentanil, heroin, cocaine and over 250,000 tablets of controlled substances, some 3 million cigarettes and several gaming machines. During the same week in November, the FBI arrested several people in New York on related offenses. The charges included narcotics trafficking, loan sharking and firearms. In March 2018, Carfano was sentenced to 10.5 years in prison for drug trafficking and weapons offenses, and also stated between March and October 2016, he and Joe Violi agreed to import 200 to 300 kilograms of cocaine into Canada. On June 1, 2018, Joe Violi was sentenced to 16 years in prison after pleading guilty on drug trafficking charges. On December 3, 2018, Domenico Violi was sentenced to 8 years in prison after pleading guilty to trafficking drugs to a paid undercover police agent for more than $416,000 as part of a 3-year RCMP-led police Project Tremens, during which the agent was officially inducted as a made member of the Bonanno crime family in Canada, according to an agreed statement of facts. Criminologist Anna Sergi of the University of Essex stated that a new alliance between Bonanno associates and the Violi family is significant, as it suggests a growing prominence for Calabrian Mafia, the Ndrangheta, within the New York families and in Canada. Domenico Violi admitted to trafficking approximately 260,000 pills, including PCP, ecstasy and methamphetamine to the undercover agent. Wiretaps recorded from 2015 to 2017 also indicated Domenico Violi was made the underboss of the Buffalo crime family by boss Joseph Todaro Jr. in October 2017 in a meeting in Florida, the first Canadian to hold the second highest position in the American Mafia. After being promoted to underboss, Violi is heard on wiretaps boasting that he had beaten out 30 other people for the position, indicating the Buffalo family had at least 30 made men, which included Canadian members such as the Violi brothers' uncles Natalie and Rocco Luppino. The wiretaps also revealed the activity of the Commission, the governing body of the American Mafia, as Violi's promotion was so unusual that Joe Todaro Jr. consulted with the Commission for permission to promote Violi as the Buffalo family's new underboss. According to wiretaps from the Violi brothers' case, Giuseppe Violi told the undercover agent back in February 2015 that Cease had been approached about becoming a MAID member, but Cease had told his father that he believed there was not enough money to be made and that there are too many headaches. Court documents filed by the RCMP in spring 2019 confirmed a connection between the Luppino family and the mob in Buffalo. On the 30th of January 2019, Cease Luppino, son of Rocco Luppino, was shot and killed at a home that was owned by his father at 56 Mountain Brow Boulevard in Hamilton. Hamilton Police Service called it a targeted hit and suggested that the murder might be related to organized crime. Cease Luppino had no criminal record, however. Detective Sergeant Peter Tom provided only this information to the news media. "I've been told he works for a family business down in Stony Creek, apparently related to a cafe and real estate." A subsequent report in January 2020 by the Hamilton Spectator stated that the business was a realty training center with an attached cafe. No charges had been laid as of that time, but the news item added that the Cease Luppino murder might have been committed to send a message to more powerful family members. The report also referenced a 2015 conversation that had been accessed by police. Cease was heard to say that he did not want to be a made man in the organized crime aspect of the family but might become involved if he could be sure of a financial benefit. The Cease Luppino hit may have been related to a home invasion on April 19, 2018, in Hamilton, when three men forced their way into a house at 19 Como Place, owned by Natalie Luppino, and stabbed one individual. A police source told CBC News that both of the people in the home at the time were related to Cease Luppino and are members of the Luppino crime family. In late April 2019, police arrested and charged two of the four suspects in Montreal with attempted murder, while the other two, also from Montreal, were already in custody. None were considered to be Mafia members. At that time of the arrests, there was some speculation as to whether the target of the 2018 incident had actually been Natalie Luppino because he was the owner of the house that was targeted. A 2019 CBC News report later quoted a Mafia expert as stating that Rizzuto's death paved the way for upheaval in the underworld. There's a power struggle left from the vacuum from Rizzuto. Also in spring 2019, one report stated that the Luppinos and the Musitano crime family seemed to be involved in the city's Mafia war. A report by the Hamilton Spectator discussed a resurgence of Mafia violence in Hamilton and surrounding areas that has most recently included the shooting of Hamilton mob boss Pat Musitano but made no connection to the Luppino family. Sources contacted by CBC News led the site to state that some sort of underworld power struggle is tearing through the region, as old scores are settled and players jockey for power in a time of unrest. The wiretaps of Domenico and Giuseppe Joe Violi recorded the discussion that the Musitanos were supporting the Contra Caruana Mafia clan who have roots in Montreal and Toronto. The records also refer to a September 2017 recording made by police indicating that Pat Musitano was already a marked man at that time, but provide no indication as to who had authorized the hit. The police agent stated that he would have thought that they would have gotten rid of Pat Musitano before his brother, Angelo Musitano, murdered in May 2017. Di Violi stated that they wanted to show Pat Musitano that it was a message. Di Violi thought they had told Di Violi that Pat Musitano would be gone. That would be one headache out of the way. In February 2020, two of the accused pleaded guilty to the 2018 invasion of Natalie Luppino's home. The court heard that they had indeed planned to target Natalie Luppino, in addition to his nephew Giuseppe Capobianco. Charles Boucher Savard admitted to having stabbed Capobianco and received a 4-year sentence. Natalie had also been in the home at the time but was not attacked. The second individual, Jonathan Monette, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit robbery and was sentenced to 1 year. 4 other persons, from Montreal, faced charges of attempted murder for their roles in the conspiracy. References. Further reading: Sedilot, Andre and Noel, Andre. Mafia Inc. The Long, Bloody Reign of Canada's Sicilian Clan. Random House Digital, Incorporated, 2012. ISBN 0307360415. Totten, Mark. Nasty, Brutish, and Short. The Lives of Gang Members in Canada. James Lorimer and Company, 2012. ISBN 1459400380. Freeman, Bill and Hewitt, Marcia. Their Town. The Mafia, the Media and the Party Machine. James Lorimer and Company, 1979. ISBN 0888622678. Schneider, Stephen. Iced. The Story of Organized Crime in Canada. John Wiley and Sons, 2009. ISBN 0470835001. Schneider, Stephen. Canadian Organized Crime. Canadian Scholars, 2017. ISBN 1773380249. Edwards, Peter and Auger Michel. The Encyclopedia of Canadian Organized Crime, From Captain Kidd to Mom Boucher. Random House Digital, Incorporated, 2012. ISBN 0771030495.